Hello, I'm Paul Groome from Digitaltest. Thank you for taking the time to look through this presentation, and I just wanted to run through some of our product offerings. We start our product range with a product called C-Link, and C-Link is a CAD translation software, and that allows us to take 68 different CAD systems and take those across to our test systems, our fly and probe systems, our in-circuit test systems, our functional test systems, and take those across to third-party test systems at the same time. Sight is our automatic test generation software. This allows us to take that CAD data and automatically generate in-circuit and fly and probe test programs. In addition, it gives us some input data to allow us to generate functional programs on our systems like the MTS 30. The third piece of our software is our Digitizer. Digitizer is our reverse engineering tool suite. Digitizer is very useful to a lot of companies where they have lost CAD data, they have lost engineering data, and we can reverse engineer that just from the board. We'll look at that later in the presentation, but that's a very powerful piece of reverse engineering software that we have. For our product range, I look at this in two ways. The first part of that, systems that are based on our MTS 30, and we'll look at the MTS 30 later in the presentation. But the MTS 30 is our rack mount functional in-circuit test system. It's extremely flexible, extremely powerful, and will allow you to go up to 1024 nodes, pins, and the MTS 30 is used inside our fly and probe system, the MTS 500, our Condor system. The Falcon system is an inline pushdown unit based on the MTS 30. If we look at our in-circuit range, there's really three parts of that. The MTS 300 provides up to 3, 4, 5, 6 node counts, fully non-multiplexed inside that, non-multiplexed analog, non-multiplexed digital. The Amiga system allows you to get to 7040 pins, again, all non-multiplexed capability. And the Eagle system is a pushdown unit for very low-cost fixturing and will allow you to go up to 1400 pins. Our final piece of software is QMan. QMan allows us to take data from all of our systems, take data from functional systems, take data from inspection systems, and put that into full SPC, data management, repair stations, and allow us to provide all that SPC and data reporting that's needed for the end of the manufacturing line. So let's have a look at each one of our solutions. The first solution we'll talk about is our Condor. It comes in two versions, one which is a manual load and one is inline. One of the great things about the Condor system is its throughput. It's one of the fastest fly and probe systems out on the marketplace today. It allows us to actually, with a linear stator at the top of the systems, move probes to any position in that XY stator. Accuracy, we can probe 50 micron pads with the system. So very powerful throughput wise, very powerful repeatability and accuracy wise. Then from a test coverage point of view, we used enhanced active heads. So what that means is that when we take a measurement, that measurement is done and amplified at the head rather than at the instrumentation at the other end of the cables. This allows us to have very accurate measurements. And if you're looking at a 1 picofarad capacitor, you're actually measuring that 1 picofarad capacitor. So very powerful measurement tool. In addition, we also provide opens check on all of the heads. So if you're looking at a capacitive to opens technique, that's available. We provide 4-wire Kelvin measurements across the heads. For customers who don't want to see witness marks, we also have a soft landing technology, stopping any marks from the probes or anything else if that's a requirement. Again, accuracy down to half a micron in accuracy with 20 microns repeatability. Also, as standard within the system, we provide AOI. This will allow us to look at resistors, capacitors, presence, absence, look at the part markings, look at rotation of components. This is really fantastic because it provides a belt and braces approach where if you can't get test coverage on a component for a reason, you can implement AOI onto the system. And then the probes, when they wear, they last for normally a month at full 24/7 operation. And those probes are in the order of $12 each. So very quick, low cost to change as we go through that. If we look at our next platform, the MTS30 is a very powerful rack mount platform. So this can be customized into a solution that you need or want to go with, which can have functional test, can have flash memory programming, can have full in-circuit inside there, all put together into a rack mounted system or into any platform that you want to design together. If you put in PXI in there, we are linked with all PXI and IEEE instrumentation. This can also be mounted into lots of third-party handling systems and provides a very, very capable and flexible functional and in-circuit test system. Again, all the cards that we can put in here are non-multiplexed and provide full digital capability and full analog capability. So the Sigma will allow us to go up to 3,500 test points, again fully non-multiplexed. It comes in three options here. If we look, we've got the standard vacuum fixtured system. We have an inline version of the system, which we do a lot of integration with the third-party handlers, as we mentioned before. And we also have a push-down version. So if you're looking at very high volume environments where you're looking at low-cost fixtures, those can be done. The system is standard, includes all the capacitive opens techniques, all the libraries. We're looking at the C-Link software as we were there before to allow the program generation. So very powerful, very fast program generation and a very capable platform. The Amiga system is the larger version of this, goes up to 7,040 pins, the same capabilities as we had on the Sigma system. So if we just look at test modules, one of the things that I always think of is when you look at fault coverage, and you look at fault coverage from point of view of the physical access to the board and the ability to be able to test those circuits. With our flying probe systems, with our in-circuit systems, Digitaltest provides some of the greatest fault coverage of any platform on the market today. If you look at the flying probe system, you truly have access to any point on that board, allowing the physical access of the board to be extremely high. The toolbox of test capabilities that sits inside the Digitaltest systems is vast. And if you come and see one of the systems, you'll be able to see all of those capabilities in real life. When it comes to the MTS product family, all of our cards will go across all of the systems. This makes it very easy for us to configure and to support all of our flying probers, our in-circuit systems, and our functional in-circuit rack mount systems. If you look at the cards from the Hybrid 4, which is a high-speed 5-volt card, to our analog-only cards, where you can mix and match the full digital and the analog-only cards, to our high-voltage cards, to our universal carrier board, which allows us to put all of our functional instruments inside the systems. So if you look at the way the platforms are put together, the MTS30 rack mount functional test system will go to 10,024 pins, the Sigma to 3,456 pins. So these can be in rack mount format, can be in a vacuum format, or an inline configuration format with those two platforms. The Amiga, that allows us to get to 7,000 pins, and that's for large boards. And then the Condor, that's our flying probe system. Now inside the Condor, you can still go to high pin counts. If you've got a connector you want to go to, you want to connect to a device, you want to put a fixture inside there, that's still capable. And because we use the MTS30 inside that platform, you can do that. So that allows us to provide fixtureless or fixtureless plus fixture testing inside the same system. So as you go through there, really 4 very powerful product families there that go from the rack mount type systems to the standard in-circuit systems to functional test to full fixtureless test. And again, all of those run with the same cards, same software across the whole product family. The other thing that we provide, and I think it's very beneficial across the whole of the platform, is all the software is written and developed by Digitaltest. So if you look at our C-Link software, that allows us for the CAD import, and then Site, which is the test program generation, and then QMan, which is our SPC quality management solutions. So if we just go through each one of those quickly to give you a rough idea of what they look like, if we look at C-Link, C-Link allows us to take 68 different CAD formats, bring that across, give you manufacturing, testability reports, all the reports that you need for your process, and develop the output data, whether that's for a digital test system or a third-party system you may have on your site, or for a placement system, or for other platforms that are outside there. We have automatic wizards to allow you to take that CAD data across, process that data, and actually output that data to the test systems. Once that's done, we then go into our site software, and just as a quick view of the site software, we have facilities inside there such as GenFast that allow you to see all of the data that you want to see very quickly. So you can look, we've got a resistor, this is the value, these are the points we're probing, this is the head we're using to probe it if it's a flying prober, these are the measurements, it passed, it failed. So in debug, it can be very quick and powerful, and over all of this is generated through our automatic program generation tools. If you look in, when you go to debug for an engineer or technician, very simple information is presented to them. So you can actually see the CPK values in real time. You can look at the standard deviations. You can actually see the measurements. You can do all the standard things you want to do, like swap, source and measure. You want to loop things. You want to change guards. And those are linked with the layout tools as well. So this all makes the programming process and debug process very simple with site software. Finally, when you go through there, whether it's an AOI system, it's a digital test system, other ICT, or it's functional test, our quality management solutions, QMan, allows you to take all of that data, put that down to a repair station. So if you're looking at inspection, you're looking at in-circuit test, you're looking at functional test, they can all be at the same repair station with QMan. Finally, our last piece of software, which runs on the flying prober, is our Digitizer. And Digitizer, again, is very powerful. We'll take a product, so if you've lost the CAD data, so we'll actually image the whole of the board, so we have that, and then all of the probable points are then digitized into our system, and then with special algorithms and software, we'll work out the XY coordinates of everything, all of the net lists across the whole of that product, component values, where they are and everything else, to actually give you that data so you can actually generate programs, you can do your processes as you need to in the future. So finally, that was a very quick overview of Digitaltest and our products. And with Digitaltest, we're based out of Concord in California for the North American market, with our headquarters in Karlsruhe over in Germany. All of our products are manufactured and built in Germany. If you have any questions, you can get our contact information on our website, which is www.digitaltest.net. And again, thank you for just looking at this quick presentation, and we hope to speak to you sometime in the future. Thank you.